True, it has been. Okay, we're live.
This is JP Auto Paint Works. Today we're going to be working on a Nissan Altima, I believe this is, or for the fancy people, this is a Nissan Altima. And so we're going to show you how to fix this. You see this? You see this white? See all that? It's peeling up off of this paint job, okay? Now I see people all the time taking their 1K stuff and wiping it, you know, and it looks great and it's beautiful, and they do it fast and they don't show what it actually looks like under here. It's just shiny, but the paint's still dead. This paint, this clear, is dying for a reason. It's coming off for a reason. The way to fix this is through 80 grit sandpaper. Now, you can do it one of two ways. You can take
the big one's in the floor over there.
I don't see it. You can take a buffer or stripper, put 80 grit on it, and grind it all off. That's a fast way of doing it. I don't want to do that unless it's absolutely necessary. We've got 80 grit. You've got a DA. This is typical of the DIY guy, is what they got at home. Yes, you can do this with 400 grit, but you're going to be standing on it approximately 2, maybe 3 hours. When you can take 80 grit, that you're going to have to prime it anyway, and remove it a lot faster. As you can see, you got chips here. It's all chippied up. Mr. Wood Chipper came along and went chip, 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 chip.
Let's see. A says, very interesting. It's a sander. Am I right?
Yeah, this is a disc orbital sander. It spins in multiple directions at the same time. It'll go this way, it'll go that way, it'll go this way, it'll go that way. It's not a grinder.
Is there any particular way to sand?
Yeah, I'm showing that right now.
Okay, all right.
So I'll take a spot to see how many times it's been painted. There are a few cars that you'll find 2 or 3, maybe even sometimes 5 paint jobs on, okay? So I'll sand down the bare metal to find out how many paint jobs I actually have on this thing. On this hood, there's only one. There's clear, there's base, there's primer, and then there's edge primer from the factory. So that makes life easier. I use the DA so that it doesn't dig a hole, and as I'm sanding down, I can count the layers, but it also doesn't leave an asshole effect when you go to prime it or do whatever, and you see that later on in the paint job. Everybody with me so far? We got questions? We got statements?
No. Random House says hello, and Austin says hola.
Hola, ¿cómo estás, mi amigo? Es un muy trabajo, muy caliente. I don't know how to say today. I know how to say other cuss words. That's the extent of my Spanish.
That is a Mountain Dew / break for 5 seconds. Be sure when you're in a shop and you drink your soda and it doesn't have a top back to it, put it under a cup. Keeps bugs and other things out of it.
Ah, okay. So, are there any questions? We're trying to do the YouTube channel a little differently because people are asking, how do you do, why do you do, this is what. So we're showing. Never sand in like different areas, okay? Stay in one spot until you're finished, okay? You hear the special operators talk about it all the time. Your 2-foot area. Stay in your 1-foot area until you're done. As you move on, you'll expand your area a little bit, but this down here will be done. So
helps you not miss spots.
Right. It helps you so that you don't miss shit. Okay. So now you're probably questioning, hey John, that stuff is feather edging back. Why do you need to still strip it? Because it's done some bad no-no things right around this little area right here. Just because you sand it back and it looks good this way doesn't mean that this still isn't lifting up from underneath of it. It's still got to go bye-bye. You got to make it go away. You have 2 overlaying spots like this, okay? This is the middle area. This will create what they call a high spot. Now, the other questions you're going to see or ask, do I have to take it down to bare metal? If it's not patching, where you're sanding in the base coat, and the base coat kind of patches, and if you saw the video with the Del Sol, if you haven't seen that one, go look at it. I show you where it's patching, which means that as the DA is sanding, it doesn't feather things back, it lifts it up, it tears it, like you tear a piece of clothing. I don't have anything to show you. So, this is not patching, so you just need to remove the clear. Now, you're going to get base coat removed anyway, because it's very, very thin. The coat is very thin. You don't need it to be thick. Questions?
No. Someone asked, do you wear a respirator?
Yeah, I got the invisible one from the Invisible Girl. You know, that's, you know.
Let's see. B says, bye-bye. It's to go bye-bye.
Right.
And then someone says, hey, you crappy old fart. That's it.
How many people we got?
81.
Okay, not a whole lot.
People are learning. There's no questions.
I was always taught that if you're showing someone how to do something and people have no question, that means that you're answering their questions as you're going along, and you're a pretty goddamn good teacher because you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Thank you. That'll be one that'll absolutely piss off everybody on TikTok when we post that part up.
For sure.
Which is funny as shit. I ain't never seen so many grown-ass Karens in my life.
Is that oil?
Yeah, this is fucking old.
Actually, what's it called? It's called oil.
Right, it's tool oil, air tool oil.
What kind of car are we working on today?
It's an ultimatum, a Nissan.
Ultimatum.
If you want to be fancy, it's a Nissan ultimatum.
That's the hood. The roof is not looking any better. The sides aren't terrible. Thorns is stuck in my sock for some reason.
Bushy thorns.
Yeah.
Just cut your sock all up, huh?
I know, these are good socks. I don't have a choice, I won't come out.
Turn it inside out.
I did, it's stuck in the thread of the sock.
You need another sock. You're holding up production.
No, I'm not. It's looking right at you.
I was a pretty good goddamn teacher. Now you're fucking all that up.
Keep going. That was in my sock.
Did it get my Aura Farmer?
Yes. I got all of it.
Oh yeah. For all of you grown men who really hate me and Bondo Billy, does it look like the two of us live our lives like we give a fuck about anybody else's opinion?
No.
Right?
Right.
So for those of you who want to mock, you go ahead and mock. But for those of you who want to support, go buy Billy blocks. That man's working his ass off for Billy Blocks, and he's making a point. Y'all go buy Billy Blocks. Buy your pet Billy Boy block.
Let's see. Finish says, man holds a sander like he's done this a time or two for sure.
Yeah, I've done it a little bit.
Let's see. Dilly says, as much as I get annoyed by some of his rants, I still want him to paint a couple of my cars.
Well, Dilly, you can go fuck yourself. No, not even a remote chance of that.
RJ says, was that ZZ Top dance or the Three Amigos?
I thought the Three Amigos was. Oh wait, that's Pee Wee Herman.
I think that was Three Amigos too.
Fuck you. Who was that? Who was that?
RJ Adventures.
Fuck you, RJ Adventures. Thanks for the song in my fucking head now. Much appreciated. Narwhal, narwhal, living in the ocean. Now you're in your fucking brain living that song.
Let's see. Andre, he says, can you share how you cut and buff, or is there a video that goes into more detail?
No, I don't cut and buff. I'll grab 1000 grit, and then I'll grab 1000 grit on a DA, do it dry, and then I'll take it. And then that will buff it.
And then do you use the should people use the purple stuff after or something? I don't think we have any of that.
No, we don't. There's swirl mark removers and glaze that you can buy to get that and finish the rest of it off. But you guys see how I started out in my box, and now I've expanded my box, and this up here is done.
saying anything the entire time. Wide awake says, I believe what he's saying 100%.
So look, here's for you young kids who are just getting into this market. When they hand you a DA and they tell you keep your DA flat on the surface, okay? That's so that whenever you're sanding a part, okay, your DA flat will do this. This is a high spot, okay? Which means it sits up higher than the other metal around it because of this dent, okay? And you can see the dent while you're sanding, and then that's when you go to your body man or your shop manager or your painter and you go, hey, look, I found a dent, what do you want to do? And then the body man can go, yeah, it's a high spot, tap, 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 tap. And they can fix that high spot.
So what makes it a high spot? Because it went through metal and the other spots didn't?
Yeah, it sands this. You think of it like two mounds, okay? And so when you're sanding across those mounds, if you run across a mound that's higher, then it peels the paint off of that one first, and then you can see that that's called a high spot.
That makes sense. Let's see, Finish Line says, do you prefer the wool or foam pads when buff and polishing?
I can use either one, the eggshell or the foam, either one.
I think we have.
I don't like the foam pads for this buffing compound because it will patch it. It will heat it so fast that it will patch it. So I use the wool pad.
Let's see, Wild says, you're cutting in deep with the edge. Good job.
You're a retard. Didn't listen to a word I said. And that's the problem. The problem is that people hate my guts. These wannabe painters, and I mean this, I mean you're an applicator. You don't know shit about what you're doing or what you're talking about. If you think I dug into this, then you don't understand that there's a dent right here. Now everybody who saw me sanding this, except your dumbass, saw that that DA was flat. And then I explained why it should be flat, but yet this is poking up right here. That's the cool thing. I'm just not a retard who comes in and goes, I know what I'm doing and everybody should do. I don't do that. And I don't go, remove parts, remove parts. I'm not puking up. I'm not the sheep doing what it's told like you are. You have no concept why parts are R&I. Has nothing to do with great job, has nothing to do with long lasting. I've proved that through 2 cars. I've already proven that you're wrong, you're a retard, you're a moron. But there's no further discussion on why things are done the way they're done or why I do what I do, other than for you attention-seeking bitches, not even grown men, bitches, who want my attention because your daddy went around and your single mommy raised you living in your feelings like a bitch. You want to make your one-lined statements and then run away. And then when I come back with the proof of why things are done the way they're done, the way I do them, you run even further and call me names. Which is why I've started doing the same to you. I just do it first because I know what you're going to do. You don't want to have a discussion. You want to be the way your single mommy bitch whore raised you and your 18 other fucking kids.
He says, I hate your guts, but you're a genius at what you do.
I hate yours too. Please, go blow yourself.
Nacho says, God bless JP. One of the last that's left that isn't money motivated and properly takes care of their customers.
I properly take care of my customers. And yes, I'm money motivated. There are lots of people, and I keep having discussions with people that go, you just love it. You don't make any money. Do you think I'm a billionaire? Do you think my last name is Musk or Trump or Bezos? I make a great living by my customers who, of today's times, are far more informed than the painters who are painting this shit. Except me. because I've been doing it longer than most have been alive.
That's very true.
I make a great living. A great living. You should be retired. You're old. I don't have a death wish. I don't need to sit around and shove a fucking can of Cheese Whiz in my fucking mouth until I get up one day and I can't make it over to the fucking refrigerator and I die of a heart attack with a Mountain Dew and a can of Cheese Whiz in my hand.
That's weirdly, oddly specific, Dad.
I mean, it's just retarded. You're old. You're stupid. Now what? And for you fucking Canadians, or for that matter,
Oh, Lord.
you stupid motherfuckers who go, I'd much rather work for somebody than to own my own business. Congratulations. What you said to me and 53,000 other people that are on my pages, I'm not skilled enough to open my own shop, so I'm going to stay here with the safety of whenever I fuck something up, the owner will pay for it. Until a year before your retirement that you've been paying into that body shop for 20 years decides to fire you and you lose all of that money. Then you're stuck at age 57, 60, and you go, what am I gonna do? They took my retirement of 20 fucking years. Oh. Put the shotgun on the floor, aim it at your mouth,
There it is.
and have a good day.
Nacho says your dad is the best.
You know, I come in here trying to teach and show people.
I think you're doing fine. Finish Line says, working for other people's BS. Learn your skill. Become the one that's teaching. Too many followers, not enough leaders now.
Yeah, exactly. Too many goat fuckers that are okay because they're butchers. You're a fucking car wash boy over in Arizona that shows pictures of old cars but can't show yourself working on them and then brag about a Corvette that I painted where you say that it was a 30-year-old single-stage job that you had to wet sand and buff.
Jeez.
You're a goddamn human waste of life, waste of space over in Arizona. You're a car washer, boy. 10-year-old kid can replace you for a fucking pack of cigarettes and fucking Coca-Cola.
Let's see. Dad Move says you probably got fired from everywhere you worked.
Right. So I got fired, but I still have more skill in that broken pinky than you'll ever gain in your lifetime, bitch. I don't work for somebody else. I work for me. I work for me. I know it's a crazy concept, right? But you're the butcher. You're the one who fucks up people's parts. And then you cry to the owner, and the owner has to pay for that shit. Meanwhile, you have the safety of the owner going, it's okay, it's okay. And you've been doing it for 20 years.
Average says LMFAO, we became kings of mediocrity and we lower the standard of mediocrity.
Right, they do, they have. I weep for America after I'm dead because you got a bunch of pussies that are gonna run it. And whenever the Russian Federation decides to go, we will take Alaska, the pussies in 30 years are going to go, oh, okay, oh, don't talk harsh. Don't talk harsh. Give me the coloring book. Do what you want. Do what you want.
Let's see. Nacho says, JP's amazing. I want to take him fishing and listen to all his stories.
Unless you got dynamite, I don't go fishing.
Mike says, just wondering if you have any water separator on the compressor. Love your channel. We don't, but we need to put one on there.
I don't because my last one broke.
I want to buy the, not DeWalt, but what's the other one that Tractor Supply sells?
I don't know. I got to look.
It's like $150. I want to buy that. Yeah. I want to buy that. That water separator lasted over a year, almost 2 years, and I thought it was really good. Let's see. Wild says, I'm a retired industrial blaster painter in the shipyards. 30 years I've painted ships, boats, sailboats, which I didn't like, but I was joking on my comments. I'm no car painter, but I have restored a few.
I mean, I know what you're talking about. I grew up in Virginia. I know Norfolk down there has a shipbuilding yard. And I knew guys that painted ships. It's kind of like this.
Doesn't matter as long as it's covered.
Meanwhile, the guy is raising up the boat lever going, and you better hope he's not pissed off, otherwise he's going until you've got zigzags.
Let's see. Jay says, LOL, I get fired from every job. I work for me and I fire myself 3 to 4 times a week.
At least.
Yeah.
How many people we got?
199.
Hey, look, while we're here, and I have a bunch of you who are here, you guys know about the floods down in Hill Country, Texas. Pray for the families who have lost loved ones, but also keep in mind first responders, because as grown-ass men, we could take people taking swings at us, people shooting at us, people, generally trying to make our lives miserable. But whenever you're responding to a natural disaster, you're finding children that are not normal, and you're finding them as a first responder.
Yeah, I know that's not easy.
That's not something that you walk away from and just go, la-di-da. No, it's something that will haunt you forever, unfortunately. First responders always have the worst of finding people. Pray for them. Prayerfully considering them in your prayers, as well as the parents who have lost children in that area.
Jay says, Norfolk local here. Sure you had fun being there.
Oh no, I never lived in Norfolk. I lived in Fredericksburg. Norfolk's a shithole. Like, I was doing some bounty hunting one time, and I walked into a neighborhood, had no idea I was by a church. Had a child walk by me and go, look, Mommy, a white guy. And I mean, big, wide eyes. Like, white people don't come into that neighborhood. And like 4 or 5 people of the church are like, are you sure you need to be here? Do you know what you're in? So, yeah, I know Norfolk.
Enlighten says, seriously, I have family that does body and paint work, and they would charge me $1.5K for a basic paint job.
Right, and they're not your family.
No.
They're not your family, because my friends who I painted cars for when they were alive, all they did was buy material and made dinner, usually Taco Bell.
Let's see. Nacho says, JP is the last of a dying breed.
I don't think so. I'm not dying.
Jay says, no way, I live in Fredericksburg now. I'm working at Dahlgren.
So are you a scientist working over there at Dahlgren? Because my pops, along with a few other people, worked for Dahlgren in helping to develop the Tomahawk cruise missiles. Pops always told me stories about Dahlgren and their very first computer that took up an entire fucking floor. It was funny. Jay
says, yes, sir.
So you're a scientist. You a mathematician, or are you a practical engineer?
Jay says, I have people around Kerrville. It was horrible for them.
It is.
So much stuff down in Kerrville was built in like floodplains. That was sad to see too. Some of the flooding was out of nowheres, absolutely out of nowheres, but a lot of stuff looked like it was built in the midst of a floodplain.
30-foot wall of water. They're used to maybe 5 or 6 feet, maybe, but 30 you can't.
There's nothing.
There's nothing you can do. Hey, guy who works at Dahlgren, is the golf course still over there?
Jay says, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm one of the computer nerds.
Okay. Yeah, just FYI, my last name is Perkins.
Let's see. Pop says, I love y'all's lives.
Thank you.
Give It to God says, how much do you charge for a front bumper and a hood?
I don't do just single parts.
Chili says, Chili Willie, left your name. An estimate on how long it takes to finish a paint job on a car.
5 months right now. I'm busy.
Pop says, me and my dad do body work together. We own our own business. That's cool. I do the same thing. Jay says, I haven't seen a golf course, but I've only been there for 8 months.
They may have gotten rid of it. The last time I played on that, there was a golf course in the center of it, and I don't know. They may have had to close it down just to get more room for people. Is Four Winds still a thing up there near?
Spotsylvania.
No, what was that? What was the Special Forces?
AP Hill.
Yeah, AP Hill. Fort AP Hill. Up there towards Fort AP Hill, the beanstalk area, the Indonesian growing fields.
It was owned by China. Sweden had a couple of bean growing fields. Yeah.
But worst of all were the goddamn gophers that would run around there and snatch a fucking ball in the middle of the green and run off with it.
Yeah, they did.
Goddamn gophers.
Well, you're in the middle of the field, so.
Nothing adds a little fun, and you know what's going on whenever you see the golfer hanging out the side of the golf course like this with his golf club. You know exactly who he's chasing and what he's chasing. Hold on, I gotta pop the hood.
I thought the hood was popped. Ah, so the more you sand, the more the dent comes out. Is that the first
Yeah.
time you've had to change out the 80 grit?
Yep, that's the first piece of DNA, 80 grit.
So one piece of 80 grit did how much? This?
Yeah, not quite, maybe a quarter of a hood. So when people go, I spend X amount of dollars and it's crazy on my materials, because you're buying 3M 80 grit gold. And that shit's like, I don't know, 200 bucks a roll, okay? Where I'm buying this for $25 or $28 for a box of 100.
It's 50.
50,
Yeah.
So that means, and it's still 80 grit. There's still 80 grit scratches. I buy the best because it lasts longer.
Okay, so if theirs lasts longer, then that means they should be able to use half the hood with one bit of 80 grit, right?
Right.
So in theory, they should be using less, which means they shouldn't be charging the customers much. In
I'll never
theory,
tell people, just like they tell me, what I should
Charge more.
Charge whatever you want.
just exposing how stupid your argument is.
Right.
That's all.
We're just exposing how stupid you are and your argument.
Let's see. M says, why do people hate body filler so much? Like, what's the deal? No car should ever have any filler ever? Are you just supposed to waste time slaving over the metal until it's perfect?
If you're doing restoration work, yeah, you're wanting to heat it up, try to pull it out, and use as less Bondo as you can. Because Bondo fails. It's never a question of if it fails, it's a question of when. If Bondo is done correctly, well, then you might get 15 or 20 years out of it before it fails. If you use it correctly, meaning you're only filling a dent this size right here, and you're only doing one or two across the thing. But whenever you've got a dent here, 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 and here, and you're putting on that much Bondo to fill in that hole without pulling that dent up, well, you know, you're going to have problems. After a while, it's going to crack and break because this is a stress area. You're opening and closing the hood throughout the years, so it breaks. I don't have a problem with people using Bondo. You should, but you should never use it in the inch, quarter-inch status across the car.
Let's see. Dilly said filler means body damage. Body damage can mean frame damage. It's just a red flag, especially if not disclosed that there's
Yeah,
an
that's not
accident
even
or two.
remotely true. Body damage does not indicate frame damage. Do you think, by your logic, that this hail dent that hit right here must have hit so goddamn hard that it took the frame right here and pushed it down, by your logic? I mean,
It bit the frame.
I know at one point God caused hailstone to fall on Egypt that like chewed up brick. You know, that shit like that big around like a boulder. I'm pretty sure a boulder didn't create this. Your logic, ma'am, is flawed and stupid.
Let's see. Living says, is there anything you paint without sanding?
No,
You have to sand.
you have to sand everything. And that's not just me, that's the entire paint world. If you're painting without sanding, please tell me where you are so that, like Family Garage up there in Georgia, I can get your work and get your customers to stop coming to you and close you down.
Good time says, JP and daughter, hello.
Lou,
Let's see. Rick says, I always hate getting caught up in the hype of buying clear coat.
there's no hype. Just buy what you know. And I'm not telling people what I use because I do it all the time. And then they call it junk, even though it's got a higher solids content than PPG's 2021 and 2024, or 2042.
Pavement says, LOL, yeah, that sounds dumb. Michael says you have to prep every surface. First time here.
Yes, you've got to sand everything. Otherwise, paint don't stick, it peels. see, we started off with peeling clear up here, okay? Down here, you can see it turning to powder and not sanding off very easily. It's feather edgeable. But it doesn't matter. This one came down to here, and so there were chips of shit down here. But if this is failing up here, it's going to fail over here. In fact, it started failing up here. It's just a question of, oh, and it failed here too. You can see it. So it's just a question of it all failing. Don't throw good money after bad. So you need to strip it.
Especially the hood, the roof, and the trunk, because those are exposed to all that.
This has been JP Auto Paint's 101 sanding. Stripping the hood.
Living says, and I'm gonna paint my own stuff. I was just curious if I could get away without sanding. I don't paint for a living.
No, you have to sand. You have to put sand scratches in it. It's what
it helps it bond on a molecular level. Like it from what I read and from what little I understand, it opens up pores inside of the paint that helps the paint bond with it.
Or metal.
Or metal. That's what I mean. Whatever substance you're sanding on, whatever. Let's see. Average Angry says, JP, I have an 07 Mega Cab. It needs some love. It needs cab corners and fresh paint, completely green.
I don't do welding and major body work and stuff. That's not me.
Let's see. Michael says, I've fixed them. I just don't normally paint them. Do you like the Harbor Freight tools?
Yeah, I use them all. That's all I've got in here.
Wild says, where do you paint your cars after you prep them?
Here. And in my paint booth. I have a blow-up paint booth. EPA certified? No, it's crazy, right?
Okay, that's it.
this is a good base start. I'll come along here and prime this. And we'll finish stripping this all off, but this is how you want it to look before you prime it. You can go back over it with 180 or 220. It'll minimize your scratches so that you don't have to worry about them. Or you can use some good quality product like I do, which is lacquer primer. It's a good high fill primer. You don't know shit. Sure I do, because it's your work. Just like that white car with blue pearl that I did, and I kept calling it candy. Well, I'm just saying exactly what you kids call candy. You call candy something that you put in a mid-coat clear and spray over top of a base. And that's what makes it candy. So I just called it candy to piss off you children who keep going, it's not candy, it's a blue pearl, it's a 3-stage blue. So lacquer primer is a high build, high fill primer. It fills scratches. You children, morons, special needs victims, want to cry about how your primer, 2K primer, won't fill 320 grit scratches. It won't fill 220 or 180. You call me whatever you want, but I'm still going to mock the shit out of it because you're an idiot.
Okay, so when it comes to the faded, is this what it looks like to feather edge right here?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it's not really feather edge.
This is not.
Right, this is peeling up. I showed what good feather edge was on that other car.
Yeah, on the Del Sol. Alex says, love your work. I got a 2015 GMC Denali. It's a dually. How much to paint it?
Probably $800 as long as it's not red or peeling all the way around.
Let's see. Mai says, what do you think about using Pour 15 as a sealer? I heard Pour 15 isn't good as a primer, but great as a sealer when you prep correctly.
I don't use sealers. I don't like sealing. I never have.
Do you have to prep any surface?
Yes, I've been over this. Every surface.
Izzy says, I just want to know the age of that hose.
This one?
Maybe 2 months?
Yeah, maybe 3 tops. I think we just replaced it like February, January.
Yeah. Glenn says, what's up, guys? Been sort of busy. I sent you a message. If you have, we probably haven't seen it. We've been getting a lot of people.
Right. Like, literally, I get 100 people an hour on Facebook asking us questions.
Let's see.
Followed along with a little bit of hate here and there. I'm going to come kill you. I'm going to come whip your ass. I'm going to...
John says, hello. He learns how not to get reported yet. Hope he obeys the rules and keeps himself calm and collected.
Go blow your brains out and mind your own business.
There it is. Royce says, good morning from the Cayman Islands. You rock.
Good morning, Cayman Islands. Thank you.
Bearded Viking Woodwork says hello.
Hello. That's a mouthful. Bearded Viking Woodwork.
It's cool. Let's see. F15 says, he's wrong. Kind of means no, he messed it up. Not sure about what.
Okay, so I'm going to use you as an example. Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me what I messed up. Go ahead. I'll wait.
You probably won't. Roy says, good morning from the Cayman Islands. You rock.
Good morning. Thank you, Cayman Islands.
Let's see. Bearded. He says, call him Beardy.
I'm not calling you Beardy. I'm calling you Viking.
Let's see. Nug says, hi there, bud.
Hello. I'm waiting on F-15 Strike Eagle nuts. I guess you just wanted to make a one-lined statement and then run before I actually showed you what you're wrong in.
Oh, F-15 said, he said right there, it's a bad example, meaning feathering, so you messed it up.
No, I didn't mess it up, stupid. She asked, is this a good example of feather edge? I said, no, not really. I said it's feathering some, but no. Now, here's what feather edge means. I've got bare metal. There's a fucking edge primer. There's some base and primer, and here's your clear. Did I feather edge that, retard? Did I actually feather edge that? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Okay. Is it a good feather edge? No, because I already said no. That's not a good example of feather edge. What I said was the Del Sol I have video of shows a good feather edge.
Yeah, the Del Sol does.
Now, that you're raised by a single bitch that taught you to live in your feelings and you don't actually know anything about painting cars, what's your next retarded statement?
No, you did not. It doesn't look like it.
Come here, stupid. Bare metal. One more fucking time for the retard. Etch primer. You can see those two. Base.
Sealer, whatever.
Base. Base. You can see that one too, retard. And look, there's some of the color, retard. Right? Retard? Come on, retard. And there's the clear, retard. Does that mean that it's feathered? Yes.
Nacho says one more time for the retard. Glenn says he never messes up. He's a legend in his own mind. That's why I'll be bringing my wife's Tahoe to him.
Oh no, I fuck up all the time.
Let's see. Freddie says Gen X monster. Sit and learn, you peasants. Let's see. B says trust the process for God's sake.
I mean, I've already stated that all of this needs to be stripped. I mean, she asked, she asked, because I assumed you fucking retard.
No, I just asked.
Is it done correctly? Is this the right way to feather edge it? Do you understand that feather edge is a step down to your clear? And it's done so incrementally, meaning in steps, stupid, and so gently that your eye never picks it up out in the sunlight.
Whenever it's painted.
Whenever
right?
it's painted. If I were to prime this and then paint this, you would never see this. Now you can cry about what I just said there, because you will, because you're a bitch. Raised by a dumbass whore. My money's on the slut down in Houston.
Nug says feather equals smooth transition between the metal, the clear with no hangs. Looks good for my place.
Right. And that's exactly what this is. Am I going to leave it like this? Absolutely not. Because up here it's peeling. Right here it's peeling.
Yeah, you can see it from all the way back here.
Right here? Yes. Because, well, I took a break to show people, to talk about something.
Let's see,
Pull the dicks out of your ear. That's not your asshole, dummy, so that you can listen. F-15, dick sucker.
F-15 says, primer, you're supposed to be on bare metal, stupid.
For primer? I'm going to let the rest of the world correct you, you stupid shit. You're too stupid. How have you made it to the age that you're at?
Let's see, B says, on old and used cars, what's the most layers you've seen? I'll take this one. Let me say this. There was a Corvette we did the quarter panel on, and it was like a 2012, maybe? 2012, okay? And we did this in 2020. It had 8 layers of paint on it. 8 layers of the same color red paint. I don't even know how you do that
F-15,
much.
I know you can't count. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Let's see. Bodywork is complete. Just a effing cop magnet in red. We want it black. Don't care about original colors for your car.
Statement, English, you not make.
Glenn says if you don't feather edge, you'll see the paint line. It isn't a hard concept to understand.
Right.
Let's see. Nug says, I love popping in here. Pops is a hoot. He's a hoot.
I mean, F-15, cocksucker, bitch boy. Can you tell me why all of this looks like this? Can you tell me what is going on right here? F-15. Did you pull the dicks out of your ear yet? You know, have you figured out those don't go there? You know, you run your dick sucker. So apparently you got one there, and apparently you got one in the ass.
Oh, Lord. Original paint on a 99 CLK 320. Is that the sedan, the
CL320
The car.
should be the car. Should
It's
be
the car.
$500 less red.
he said is red.
7. As long as it ain't peeling all the way around it. Does it gotta tell me it's peeling all the way around it?
I don't know, could be. Random says good morning.
Good morning. Not so much talking.
Let's see. B says, why are you stripping it to metal, by the way? I had no idea what was going on with it.
If you see this, it's peeling. The clear's dying all over it.
That's actually peeled off without sanding.
Right.
It's doing the same thing up on the roof. When it turns white like this, the whole thing's dead, right? It's not pretty. But when it turns white like it does right here, you can see it better in the light right there. Does that mean the clear's about to die?
Clear is dead.
Oh, so it's lifted up from the base underneath of it. That's why it looks white like that.
Right. It's powdering up and doing this, peeling off as you drive down the road.
Okay. Let's see. Roger says $700. I'm in. Please. The original paint's in perfect condition. Thank you. I'll be in touch.
Then why are you painting it? Don't come to me. If it's in perfect condition, go get a car washer to detail it.
Yeah, honestly, just have it wet sanded and buffed. Let's see. Clear coat seems to always fail. Why is that? It's not meant to last forever. No paint is meant to last forever. Except Rhino liner. That's meant to last forever. Let's see. We've got a couple really good questions, actually. B says, so are you stripping it for more even coating whenever you prime and paint it next?
No, I'm stripping it because it needs to be stripped. The clear is peeled up off of it.
So if we
So,
I will. So if we took this where it's peeling right here and we just 80'd it and then primed over top of it and then painted over top of it, what would happen?
it's still peeling away from the original paint that's on it. So it will just continue to peel and lift up the new paint.
So the dead paint's still gonna peel, so you have to remove the dead paint.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's see. Random says, I don't get why all the hate on JP. He's just doing his job. Rebuild says, favorite color to paint, least favorite color?
Least favorite color is white. Probably the most favorite is probably a midnight blue or midnight blue palm.
Is that because it's the first color you ever painted?
Probably. 69 Mustang, yeah.
Roger says, I wish I could send you a picture. Where are you located? I'd be happy to drive it down to you for that price and to know a ballpark how long it would take.
Runaway Bay, Texas is where I'm at. Facebook is the name of our page to send pictures to, JP Auto Paint Works. It takes right now about 5 months. We're going to start building on a shed here a little bit later on in the week, hopefully the weekend. And hopefully we can start cutting down on the times and stuff. We've had a bad winter this winter in Texas. It's been very, very heavily rained.
Heavy rain. Normally don't get this much.
It even rained yesterday, last night.
Chris says, nice, I fix cars. Also make big bucks doing them. Random says, is the paint dust volatile? Genuinely curious. Like, will it catch fire? No. Wild says, wow, how much humidity do you have where you live? Does that ever affect your painting?
No, it does not.
I painted this Del Sol. I painted this Del Sol the other day, and it was 100% raining outside, so humidity was at 100%. It didn't affect anything.
Now, I'm from Virginia, where we've got 70, 80, 90, even 100% humidity in the summer. I've never had problems. I know what's happening. People talk about it milking up, turning white. It's because they're using a 1.2 spray head, and they're so close and have to move so slow that all the clear gathers right in this one area, and it turns milky and it's zebra stripe.
Do you think it also has to do with a bad clear?
No, it has to do with everything, with how slow they're moving and the size of their stupid paint gun, the head on that paint gun. Things that applicators don't know anything about.
Okay. Good Time says he's helping people have their pride back, driving a clean looking car.
Otherwise, thank you. Otherwise, places like Connecticut, Maine, Massachusetts, Maryland, New York, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida,
The
Louisiana, anywhere along the Gulf Coast, according to these people, they're not allowed to be painting because even at midnight, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, it's still 100% humidity outside. But yet they're still painting cars. Now they're not allowed to because humidity fucks everything up, right?
Right. Let's see. Wild says, I noticed your shop is a dirty mess. You probably get a lot of dirt in your paint, I would think.
Well, I noticed that your mom's a whore and she dresses like a whore, so I'm guessing that she's a whore.
M says, why is it that all these body men that have a problem with you don't understand that not everyone needs restoration level work? Would they rather their cars keep rotting unless you could pull 30 grand out to fix it?
Because they're jealous. They don't have a skill set to work for themselves. The other comments I get are from people in the UK and from Canada. It's like I can't get the retards that are fucking mooses in Canada to grasp the concept. You're in a third world country. Your pricing is going to be different than mine. But that doesn't sink in. They just want to call me bad names.
Nug says, nothing like doing dishes and listening to a sander in the background to make you feel like you're not doing housework. I like that.
Mama's bitch today, eh? I've been there.
Let's see. Bake says, love to see it. How's it now that you have someone asking you questions while you work? Love the videos.
I've always had her doing this. She's always
Ever since we started doing lives, yeah.
I'm her trained dancing monkey.
He is. It's taken a while. Big Dog says it's got to be completely stripped down.
The hood does, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably the roof too. I haven't looked
The
at
trunk is the same. I have to do all three. Sal says a 5-month wait for that quality job is crazy.
Give me that.
Do you want me to block him?
No, hand it here. Don't block it. I know, Saul, you inbred New York piece of shit. You don't have that many cars like I do sitting in my lot. You're dead because you're a butcher. You're dead because you're not a business owner. You're dead because you're a piece of shit that don't know what you're doing. And you're painting parts. Okay? I got one shop. I got 2 people. I got limited amount of room. But I've got 30 cars sitting outside on my lot. When you can reach my level, then you can fucking talk to me. Because I sure shit ain't going to step all the way down to the bottom rung to do single parts. You little bitch.
That was great. I should hand you the camera quicker. Do you use aircraft stripper at all?
No, I don't like aircraft stripper. I've worked for Corvette shops in the past, and you don't take DAs to Corvettes typically that are peeling up. You take aircraft stripper and strip it down to gel coat and stuff. And no, I don't like its smell. I don't like how it burns me. It's not fun to play with. And no, I don't use it unless I'm burning a body. I don't use it.
Nug says another way to paint bugs is if you have water in your compressor.
Who is Nugs?
He's been nice. Vic says, I got the milk look in Arizona and I was using a 1.4 and going too slow. You're correct. Too slow.
I know it too, because we all do it. We're trying to flood the hood or a flat surface to make it look good. And sometimes we just don't pay attention that, we make that first pass and we're so concentrated in that little 6-inch area that you're not paying attention until you start coming back and you're like, God damn it. And you see that zebra stripe.
Let's see. Big Dog says, I'm in Georgia and I paint all the time.
Right.
Let's see. Scott says, great job, JP. Great comeback.
Thank you.
It is funny.
I'm a sassy bitch.
Sal's in California. He says, you wouldn't know how to survive here. Who wants to survive
You're
there?
right. I don't know how to live underneath a communist rule. And when they started to in North Carolina, I threatened to kill cops that wanted to walk on my property without the legal right to. You're right. I can't live in a communist fucking state with a piece of shit governor who wants to take every little bit of money that he could get, put it in his own pocket, and make you look like the bitch that you are, Sal.
Yeah, you're working for your governor.
You work for your governor, and you don't even work for yourself, you little bitch.
Random says, y'all okay with the floods?
Yeah, we're not in a flood zone. We actually live on top of a mesa, and the lake is below us, but
it's below us by like 100 feet or something, I think.
Right, it never floods up here where we're at. It's south and east of us that flooded pretty bad.
Texas is huge.
The hill.
I think we're about 7 or 8 hours from where it actually flooded. And I mean that. Texas is huge.
That's Kerrville.
And that's still like 3 hours from Mexico, maybe even 4.
Right.
Let's see. Nug says, have you ever powder coated?
No. No, I don't play with witchcraft.
Witchcraft. Random says, that's good to hear. Stay safe.
Thank you.
You too.
Y'all pray for the parents who have lost people, or even the people who have lost people. But also keep in mind the first responders. Nothing gets a first responder like finding a dead child, and I mean that. That stays with you forever. You never lose the smell. You never lose the face. You never lose how you found the body. Pray for the first responders.
Sal says, you pay all these taxes and still manage to make my money. God bless. We won't pay any taxes to the state of Texas because they actually don't require it. And we'll make even more money than you. Thanks, Sal.
Hey, Sal, I make more money than you do, and I own my own business.
It's just
Elon left out of where, Sal? where did he leave and where did he go to? Oh, that's right. He came to a state that is friendly for business. Do you know why it's friendly for business? Because my governor and lieutenant governor, they understand what it takes to own our own business. And so they make it so that other business entrepreneurs come here to Texas and start their own business.
yeah, the definition of
But you stay in California. I'm sure ICE is coming for you shortly.
there it is. The definition of being an idiot is doing the same thing over and over again and thinking you're accomplishing something,
And
especially
expecting different results.
especially thinking that you can survive in California. I'm thriving. No, you're making money for your government and you're just barely squeaking by.
You're not surviving. Who the fuck are you kidding? You got lawyers. You've got doctors who are living in tents in LA because they can't afford the taxes. Don't lie to people, Sal. You're living in a goddamn tent somewhere on Skid Row. You got somebody's free cell phone that you stole from them.
Let's see. What paint do you use?
High.
Big Dog says, JP, have you ever used the Summit paint kits?
No, I have not. I don't like being fucked in the ass, so I stay away from companies like Summit.
Honestly, a lot
They're
of the
almost as bad as Revolt Paint, the whore in Houston.
honestly, a lot of people that buy online, the online people are screwing you. They're charging you hundreds of dollars more than they need to, and they know it.
I mean, shit, the whore in Houston who runs Revolting Paint, you know, the Princess of Tamco, you know, the one that,
She's not the princess anymore. It's the
one
other
that
sister
her
now.
The one that her daddy and mommy threw away because she's a thief, a scumbag, a whore, a slut.
Cheater.
17 different kids by 15 different men. The whore who sells the same blue I sell. I sell the exact same blue. She calls it a candy pearl. She sells it for $650. I call mine a pearl and sell it for $2.
There's so many.
$400 difference. $400 difference. And I'm going to remind you too. Today, like today, where it's 90 degrees with 50% humidity, you can't shoot her piece of shit base and clear because it's not perfect conditions. It's not 70 degrees. It's not 0% humidity. And you can't shoot it. Now, those aren't my words. Those are the whores down in Houston.
That's top
Revolting
show.
Paint.
Kate
And I
said,
don't even know how she's done it. I don't even know why she does it. She needs to put pasties right on them nips because she keeps lowering them shirts because she can't get enough sales.
she can't get
Right?
views either.
Like that old ass worn out body of hers has been through the ringer and like her tits are starting to knock on her knees. So I mean, you know, I can't mock her enough.
Kate says, where y'all located?
Runaway Bay, Texas.
Rebuild says, Callie's a bunch of idiots.
They are.
Glenn says, and not learning on your mistakes. Yeah, just doing it over and over again.
Right. That's the definition of insanity.
Random says, Christy's not rude, he's just speaking his mind.
Where am I rude? Does it hurt your feelings for what I said? Let me ask if I can. Let me see if I can find a fuck. Nope, I sure didn't. I didn't find a fuck where I walked. Nope. I found an ugly looking piece of shit that I scraped off the bottom of my boot. Looks like somebody named Chris. Did your feelings get hurt, Christy?
Random says, anyway, just wanted to say hi. I'm going back to fishing. Take care, y'all.
It's only fishing if you're catching. If you're not catching, and it's not fishing, it's aggravation.
That's not true. I
Which
could just
is why
sit there
you
with the
need-
pole for hours and be fine with it. I'm pretty sure that's illegal in a lot of places.
Or 1001, 1002.
Kate says, how much to paint my 04 GTO? That old Chevy green with metallic flake.
Send us pictures of it at JP Auto Paint Works, probably somewhere around 12-ish, roughly.
Glenn says, I got a $15,000 estimate from a shop here in Mississippi, which is why I'm driving to JP from central Mississippi. That's crazy.
I've talked to a lot of retards out of Mississippi. The inbreeding has got them. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
For the shops. I don't know what to tell you. It's not just Mississippi. It's freaking everywhere.
Everybody values their time. I won't get out of bed for X, which is why you're always in your mommy's basement having mommy feed you off of her EBT.
Let's see. Big Dog says, I have an honest question. What paint are you using, if you don't mind me asking?
I mind. I use JP Auto's brand. It's called Minimus Paint Line. I'm not telling anybody shit anymore. I don't do it. I did at one point. I told everybody what I used. And then I went back off the internet and I pulled my piss out of the pool so you can't find it. So, yeah, it's none of your business.
Cade says, I'm about to come get paint with y'all just because I love y'all's attitude. It's amazing, the paint jobs, though. Where do I send photos?
JP Auto Paint Works on Facebook.
Keith says, JP's my spirit animal. Rick says, do you have an online store?
No. We ask people questions, get what they want, and then we sell it, and then we deal with people on a one-on-one basis. I don't like the click here if you want this, and then if you want this, well then you click here. No, tell me what.
That's like the stores, right? They make it so confusing. They throw in, this is their kit, and it's all liquids, right? There's no sandpaper or anything else, and it's a gallon of base, and then they give you a quart of hardener or a half gallon of hardener to go with it. Like your base doesn't actually need that. If you're doing DIY, you don't need that. The only time I've ever seen people that really use the hardener in their base is if they're doing the stripes, because those guys say it helps with doing multiple stripes, or I'm doing other things on top of it. It's just crazy. Good Time says, you ever lose your keys?
No. I've lost my sunglasses. Lost them for 2 days before I realized they were in my truck.
Yeah, Dad's lost his glasses before, and then they're on his head, and I'm like, they're up there, right? Nathan says, JP does great work.
Thank you.
Big Dog says, I don't run a shop, I just paint my own stuff.
Nothing wrong with that.
Just buy whoever's cheapest. You don't need to buy the most expensive stuff.
Look, guys, one of the reasons why I'm not going to tell people what I'm using, because I've warned people for the last 4 years that Mako was changing what they do. They're no longer interested in painting all overs like this. I don't have any competition from a Mako. The closest one is out in Arizona, and I blow him away all the time. He's nothing. He steals all of my comments.
Oh my gosh, this again.
Shut up. And so, Mako is now a direct repair facility for all the major insurance companies, which means Service King and Caliber Collision, which have been collapsing for years, they're now going to collapse faster. The mom and pop operations across America, they're collapsing too, because nobody's taking their cars to them. They're going to Mako. They're going to Mako because they truly offer a worldwide warranty repair. You get your car hit because you're stationed at Quantico in Virginia, but then all of a sudden you got to go back out to 29 Palms, and you get in an accident or something happens and the paint flakes off. Well, then you take it to the closest Mako, and they go, oh yeah, you got this paint 6 months ago. Yeah, we'll warranty this. And so I told people, there's going to be a rush, and right now there is. You people are mocking me. This was 3 years ago. You people are mocking me over the materials I use. But I know what materials are good and what materials are going to last. You don't. You haven't done your work, and so you're going to scramble. And that's what's happening now. And everybody wants to know what I'm shooting and how I'm doing it and how the paint's lasting for as long as it is. I'm not creating a bunch of fucking
competition
for me. You didn't want to be nice 3 years ago, and you still don't want to be nice, and there ain't a goddamn chance in hell I'm going to be nice now. Fuck you. Go eat shit and die.
Good Time says, I've lost my phone, but it was in my hand. Big Dog says, I usually go to the mom and pop store. Cade says, just sent photos. Hope to hear from y'all soon. Enjoy y'all's day. Thanks for all of your time.
Thank you. Be patient. We get literally 100 people in a half an hour to an hour to ask us questions.
Yeah, sometimes you have to break for lunch and then go back to answering people for like 2 hours. Big Dog says, I work at Carvana and we do everything in-house.
Right.
So does, what's that other place that's really big with selling cars? CarMax. Yeah, they do a lot of in-house stuff too. Nathan says, in and out like a Pop-Tart and toaster. That's Mako. I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of funny, but I like that. Hugh says, what's the purpose of this channel? He just complains and trash talks everyone. Doesn't teach, doesn't even work 90% of the time. It's whack. So you didn't sand this on the live. Definitely didn't talk about why he was doing it, how he was doing it. Definitely didn't talk about what that little dent is. But also, the only people he ever trash talks are the ones that started. So is it really trash talking? It's just a matter that you don't like that the guy that you're supporting who was trying to bully JP got put in his place. He got put down. He's less than nothing. And so you're upset over that. If you don't like it, go on. It ain't your channel. Move along.
Go start your own to counteract mine. Because here, nobody gives a shit about you. We're not your parents. We're not your friends. Nobody likes you. Go cry to somebody else. Go be a bitch.
Chris says, hello from another mother.
Hello.
Rawl says, where are you from?
I'm in Runaway Bay, Texas.
Good time says, JP's helping the working people have pride in their ride. I like that. That's a good slogan, Good time. Nug says, chat puts a bit of a dent in the productivity, LOL. It does. I enjoy doing lives, but I also don't enjoy doing lives for that very reason, because I have to stop what I'm doing and focus on this rather than sanding.
I mean, it's not like I've been outside since 5 a.m. and then I taped up and primed an entire C10 and then came in here and started working. And that it's what, 10 a.m. in the morning? 11?
I have no idea what time it is. 9:56.
Okay, it's 9:56 in the morning. It's 10 a.m. in the morning. And you know, I'm 56 and it's like 90 degrees outside with 90% humidity.
And there's no clouds. That's the worst part of Texas, is when there's no clouds in the sky, because that sun is hotter than any sun anywhere else on Earth. I don't even care if you're in the Sahara Desert. It's not as hot as Texas sun.
Like, I'm just sitting here kind of answering people because, you know,
in the fan, nonetheless.
I've been on the move for 5 hours without lunch, without breakfast, without, you know.
Crypto says, what's the best car wax?
I don't use wax. Whatever you can get out of the car wash is what I use whenever I decide, if I decide to wax mine.
Nathan says, you're defending. That's right, JP, do your thing. Glenn says, work before the heat. Work smarter, not harder.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, you know.
Are you done with the live now?
No, not really. I'm scared. How many people we got?
113.
I mean, I'd go back to work. You guys want to?
Yeah, go back to work.
I'd go back to Sandy. I mean, I just don't answer questions.
Get back to Sandy.
You know, it's always the little girls.
Why you insult little girls?
Because men, I mean, you know, they're girls.
They're little boys. Little girls don't cry as much as these little boys do.
Little boys who live up in like Minnesota, Massachusetts, Canada, Matabe, or wherever the fuck it is, that always go, you're always sitting around, you're not doing anything. I work circles around you, old man. It's July. It's almost the middle of the month. Come on down. Let's see how long you last. Come on. Come on. Here's the DA. I'll let you. You can start at 9 a.m. in the morning. Let's see how long you last. Come on.
Let's see.
Come on, doggy.
Flybox says, love your videos.
Thank you.
Nug says, tool time ASMR. There's boys, girls, and wimps. Yes.
I can't call them men because they don't act like it. They haven't earned their man card. They can't get away from mama's titty.
They don't know nothing about the Dixie humidity.
No, they don't.
You worked in Charleston for a little while, didn't you?
I did that in my 20s. That was rough.
We went down there on vacation like, what, 3 years ago, and that was intense.
Came out early in the morning, went home by lunchtime, stayed in until it was night.
Yeah. Texas humidity isn't terrible, but it is rough sometimes.
Can be.
The dry heat's real bad, especially when it hits 115 outside.
Yeah. I come down and work circles around you. Come on. Come on. Just know that whenever you drop dead of heat exhaustion, I'm going to piss on your face and laugh. How many people's ADD would go nuts if I just left that?
Not gonna stay in that small little corner? Dad? You're not gonna stay in that small little corner? It's taunting you. It's just sitting there going, save me.
You guys know that you saw me working that box, right? As this got sanded, my box got moved up a little bit. So that's what I was talking about in the beginning.
Nobody.
How many people are in here? None?
67.
So none.
Big Dog says, I think removing dead paint is about as bad as pulling thorns out the bottom of your foot with vice grips. LOL. I certainly don't think
So
it's
you
that
live
bad.
in Texas.
No, I think he was from Georgia. Doug said, hope y'all have a great day. Got to get to the rest of the errands. Glenn says, one open door, no ventilation, maybe a small fan, a roof that's about 5 feet over your head, and 100 degrees is like working under a broiler. Ask me how I know. JP and Cynthia do this. It's not too terrible. But I'm not going to lie, having a roof that's metal, it does make it a little bit hotter. Makes it a little bit hotter, but it's not bad for winter.
I guess we'll end the live.
In the live.
End the live.
Goodbye, guys.
Guten Tag. Auf Wiedersehen.
I don't know if I hit yes or I hit cancel. Oh, I hit cancel.